So I got Al Atkins here on the phone with me, and Al, your career has been stuff of legends after I read your book, but you had a hard time, with your career too. How is it going now?
It's going great, absolutely fantastic. The Holy Rage are sort of 7, 8 tracks now into the completion of the album, which I think we need another 1 or 2 tracks we finish, and it's sounding really, really good. It's the best stuff I've ever recorded and played with, like sort of Vince O'Regan, the new guitarist, who's just joined up with the band a few months back. He's a great writer. So it's the first time I've really sort of been writing with another, co-writer as such. All my solo albums, most of the stuff I've done myself, so it's really, really good.
Going on your book there, Dawn of the Metal Gods, which the title is just fantastic, and then you see a picture of you on it.
Which spoils the book.
How long did it take you to write this book with Neil Daniels?
I started out about 4 years ago, actually. I was on a radio show in Liverpool. We were talking about the old days of Judas Priest, and the DJ, John Kirkman, says, you ought to put a book out on this, because nobody's ever done it, really. Nobody's ever covered the very early period of Judas Priest, how they started, and, most people think Judas Priest started when Glenn Tipton joined in sort of 74, 75, So I got to thinking of doing it, but it was a much longer job than I thought it was going to take, It was like contacting old roadies and people from the past, managers and band members, and to put the whole thing together, because obviously you got your own stories sometimes, but it can change. It's like passing a story to one person to another. Eventually, it becomes something completely different. But I wanted to get the facts as good as I could, as true as I could. I think I did a good job in the end. It was a really good. Some of the roadies were amazing. I mean, one guy turned up. I used to be in a band called Lion, which was in the sort of punk era of the 70s. Excuse me, Jason. And one of the roadies was they call him Mick Hughes. They called him Zoom. He had a big motorbike. He's always zooming around his bike. And it was great to talk to him, because after he left the band, he formed a lighting company, sound and lighting company in Birmingham with another guy. And then they went on to tour with bands, and he ended up with Metallica. And he's been with them ever since. He's still their sound engineer now. So, it was great talking to some of the old road crew even, But I say, it took about 4 years. Up until I finished the book, I was still struggling. So I brought in Neil Daniels, who had written a book, Defenders of the Faith, about Judas Priest. And he'd been in contact with me before, and I says, can you help me finish my book off? Because it's not like doing an album, it's a different ball game altogether, doing books. And he came along and he says, put that there and change that to that. And eventually we got it done, and it's out, and it's going really well at the moment.
It's an awesome book, I'll tell you that much. I'm glad you sent it to me. The information is really interesting, and the pictures, great pictures in this book. Oh, were all these pictures from your collection, like the classic ones?
Some of them were. Some of them were like sort of the roadies had brought some along and said, have you got this one? No, I'll put that one in, It was really good. I think with me, I'm not an author. But what I wanted to do was, I always say every picture tells a story, so I try to get as much sort of photographs in there. They said, let's just put some in the middle of the book, like most people do. And I said, no, I want to put pictures in the chapters. If I'm talking about my family from the beginning, a little picture of me, my brother and sister, and how it went right the way through, right into up in the Holy Rage now. So I want you to fill the book with photographs as well,
Now, when Rock Rolla and all that stuff came out, did Judas Priest send you a copy of this in the mail? I don't know if you mentioned that in the book. Yes,
I was sent. They released a single, I think, just before Rock Rolla, which was the Rock Rolla and Never Satisfied. Yeah, it was on the B side. It was great to be on a single, I'd written for different bands over the years prior to Judas Priest, but nothing like ever came out like this. I got it in my hand, it's a single, And then the next thing there, they brought the Rock and Roll album out, and they put 3 or 4 songs on there, like Never Satisfied, Winter, Caviar. Caviar and Mess is just a short piece from the actual song itself, and I got the rights to that back later, and I recorded it myself. Yeah, it was fantastic to bring an album round. I've still got them here now in the house somewhere.
And I'm sure it's on vinyl.
Yes, vinyl. Yes.
Are you gonna have any tours for Holy Rage this summer?
Of course, we have to promote the album. We have one come through already for May the 14th. I hope we're ready for that because we've come off the road to concentrate just on recording the album, and then let's get that out, and then we can sort of set about putting the band back on the road live, because that's one thing I do like doing as well as recording, and we can promote the album at the same time. We have a couple of festivals coming too. Whether they're going to come off yet, we've got a Cambridge one in August. We've got one in July, the Britfest. We got hopefully the one in just been talking about now in September, which is the Spanish one, the Harley Davidson one. So some stuff's already coming in now. Some of the gigs, so we're looking forward to that in festivals. Yeah.
What's the idea to name the band Holy Rage and not Al Atkins?
Well, we first started out when I did my last album, the Demon Deceiver album, and we said, I got a band together. I did some stuff with Dennis Stratton from Iron Maiden. We came back. We was going to form a band called The Denial, but that fell through. And then I said, look, I've got to promote the album. So I actually started out as the Al Atkins band, and I don't know, he sounded a bit pretentious, but it was an Al Atkins album, so we had to go under that for a year. And that's all. I was going to promote the album for about a year with a band, and everybody sort of started going their own ways. And left me and Chris Johnson, the guitarist. And Chris said, come on, Al, let's just get this band back on the road. And, I said, okay, but it's not going to be Al Atkins band. I decided to have a double barrel name, like I have done in the past, like, say, Judas Priest or like a Black Sabbath name. And I come up with a typical topical name, which was the Holy Rage. I thought, yeah, that sounds good. That'll do. Let's hit the road. And for straight away, we was, playing alongside Blaze Bailey, then Diamond Dead, Skid Row. Went to Hollywood, playing with Graham Bonnet, and we really started picking up from there. It's been an absolutely fantastic time, and we're still now doing this album, which is hopefully will put us onto the next level as well.
So how long have you been playing with Chris Johnson now?
Oh, it's been where are we? It's been a good 3 years, I think, or more now. He actually featured on the Demon Deceiver album, but he came in very late. I had Brian Tatler on guitar on one song from Diamond Head, and the great Simon Lees. He was playing with Budgie at the time. A fantastic guitarist. He did quite a few tracks on there, and also wrote the opening song for the album, which is more like an instrumental. And Chris came in towards the very end of that, so it's been like a good 3 years now.
Is Simon Lees and all them guys around your community? They're not too far from you?
No, they're all still around here, yes.
And how's the bar scene down there? Like, do you guys go and meet up and have a jam session, let's say? Stuff like that?
No.
None like that?
I wish we did. Those days have gone. They were good times. I wish actually it still happened. But in England now we're going through a bit of a bad spell with bars and stuff. A lot of the pubs are closing down because they stopped smoking. So people are going, we can't smoke in the pub anymore. So a lot of people are staying at home having a beer. Then all of a sudden, what's happening is they put the beer prices up because they're not making enough money, and then people still stay at home even more because they're going, hang on a minute. Can't smoke, can't afford to buy the beer. So a lot of the pubs are really closing down in England now. It's amazing to see. A lot of the young bands used to play in the pubs. They've got nowhere to play really at the moment. It's a shame, really. There's a few going still, keeping them going, but not many.
It sounds like the same scene in Canada.
Is it really?
Yeah, you can't smoke in the bars, and the prices of alcohol have just climbed up the charts.
Oh, it's the same over there. I was talking the other night about this to someone else on the radio. And it is a shame, but that's just the way things are going. And I used to say what goes round comes round, because one time in the 70s when the music scene, the metal scene rather, started to drop off a bit, we had the punk era for a while. And then all of a sudden, towards the end of the 70s, 80s, we had the new wave of British heavy metal, which was absolutely incredible. Loads and loads of heavy metal bands kicking off again. But I don't know whether it's going to happen this time. I don't know whether it will. I hope it does. for the future of, especially in the UK. We had so many great bands coming out of the UK, as you know. We don't see that so much now.
Dennis Stratton, when's the last time you worked with him?
Oh, it's been a while now. We did a bit of a tour up the east coast of America in 2004. It was. We came back and we did some rehearsing and got the name of the band. We did some photograph session and stuff like that. But it never came off. I think he was waiting for. He was in a band called the Praying Mantis, and I think they released a best of album, and he was hanging around to see how that was going to take off. If he did, he'd gone back with the Praying Mantis. I couldn't hang around. I couldn't wait, so I just pursued my own career. That was it.
And do you still keep in touch with Dennis in some sort of way?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've spoken to him not long back. We sent a Christmas card to each other, and I spoke to him on the phone when he come back. He's done a bit of a tour with an old guitarist of mine, Mikey Jager from South Africa, and they actually went over to Africa and played some gigs out there, which he said it was a great time. So yeah, I was glad to see him still playing, and he plays a lot in London now. He lives in Cambridge, which is well away from Birmingham, and he plays a lot in the London, the big pubs in London with his band. He makes a living and he's doing okay. So
going to Judas Priest again, let me ask you a few questions. Do you ever keep in touch with Judas Priest, like KK Downing and that still today?
Not KK so much, but Ian, yeah. I just emailed him the other week wishing him, all the best with the winning of the Grammy they won, So I still keep in touch, and Ian did the forward notes in my book, which is really, really good of him. Mm-hmm. We were getting quotes from different people about me, from Graham Bonnet and Paul Diano and whatever it was, and I got in touch with Ian, and I says, can you do a little quote on me? Call me what you want, I ain't bothered. But no, he said, yeah, I'll do the forward notes if you want. Oh, that's fantastic, So he did the forward notes for the book, and yeah, we keep in touch. But they're back home at the moment, and I've just emailed him, and he emailed me back thanking me, saying they're well done with the Grammys. But not as much as we don't live close to each other now. So it's an email or a phone call away,
Did you follow Judas Priest's career after you?
Oh yeah, most definitely. It was great to to form the band and sang with them through. Well, the first band was not, as I think you read in the book. It was 1969 we first formed, and we got a record deal and everything, but which fell through. The company went bust. And I formed up then with KK and Ian in 1970, 71, 72, 73. I left the band because of family issues. Not long after that, I got a job in an office. I got a wife and kid to keep, and I wasn't sort of doing the right sort of maternal job, if you know what I mean. I was on the road all the while. I never saw them. I never come back with any money in my pocket either, so it was a bit rough them times. So, yeah, it was nice to get a band like the next band I formed was Lion, which was the original bass player from Judas Priest, the 1969 line of Big Bruno Stapenhill. He was the guy who actually thought of the Judas Priest name. So I teamed up with him, the budgie drummer Pete Boot, and another local lad on guitar, and we were a really, really good band, And we sort of, as we were playing, we would I'd look over my shoulder all the while, seeing how Judas Priest were doing, and they still had it rough for the first few years. Rob took my place, and so for the first year, they still hadn't got a record deal. And then all of a sudden, Gull Records came on the scene. They were a subsidiary label to Decca Records. And they said, we'll sign the band if you get another guitarist in. We'd like like a twin harmony sounding heavy metal band. And that's what they did. They brought in Glenn Tipton. And then it was nice to see them get the album out. As I say, they bought me a single and an album. Yeah, you're out there. We got some tracks on here, And they asked me to be their personal roadie in America. They said, would you like to come over to America with us and be like sort of a sort of personal manager on tour, But I said, no, I don't want to do that, It just seems strange. Although I thanked him, KK, I said, thanks for asking, and he said, well, I thought you'd say no. I said, I don't want to do that. I want to be myself. I want to be my own thing, Whether I make it or not is beside the point. I just enjoy my music, too much, and You know, I couldn't see me standing at the side of the stage and somebody interviewing KK and going, where did the name come from? And he's going to go, ask that guy over there. You know? And he's going to go, who wrote Victim of Changes? And ask that guy over there. You know what I mean? It just don't seem right that I would be like, you know, not part of the band, you know.
And who wrote Never Satisfied? That guy standing
That
right
was
there.
me. That was me. It was really strange because I think KK's named by the side of my track, but that was my song. The only song he wrote was the song was called Run of the Mill. But it didn't bother me that much because, you know, it's one of those things. Maybe he said, I wrote this little note here. Okay, you can have it.
Yeah.
And Winter was mine too. So Caviar and Mess was mine. And I asked them to give me the rights back to the track because I wanted to record it in its full 8-10 minute long version, you know. And so I did, and I've got the letters here to say I hereby say that, you know, this belongs to you. I had a better publishing deal on the track. It was a long time ago, you know. Things happened, you know. Victim of Changes was mainly one of my songs, and Rob came in and he wrote the second part of that, and what was the other one? Now, Dream of Deceiver was, I think I wrote a little piece of guitar in the middle, which was out of another one of my songs, because I used to write all the stuff for the band. So it's one of those things, you know, it's all swings and roundabouts. I'm not really bothered, and I made a few quid. I'm not bothered.
Is there any early video of Judas Priest with you in it? You know that.
No, there wasn't.
None.
We actually there was a tape of us playing live with Tony Iommi. Actually, it took us under his wing for a while, and he got us a gig with Black Sabbath in the early days, and then he put us on with a band called Family at the Hippodrome in Birmingham. It was a big gig for us, really, in those early days. Family were a great band. Roger Chapman on vocals, and he came along with Norman Hood. He was like looking after us as well, one of Sabbath's sort of old managers, and they did a tape of the show, and I would love to have heard that, you know. But at the time, no, we didn't have no videos done, which would have been great to have had done.
One album you didn't mark in your book, you know, you have Hero, Sad Wings of Destiny, Rock Rolla. You didn't mark the best of Judas Priest, the early best of that they did?
No, probably not. I don't know. They're more the same tracks anyway, so probably not. There's a lot of, I don't think Judas Priest like anyone really talking about those early years, you know, because Gull Records, they signed a 4-year deal, I think, and they broke the contract within 2 years when CBS wanted to sign them up. So I think Gull Records own a lot of the rights to the records, which I don't think Judas Priest like that at all. They have put it out in different formats, and I think the Judas Priest team sort of got onto Gull and says, look, we'll do you for exploitation if you keep bringing the album out under different guises, you know. So I didn't mention it in my book. They're all the same songs, really.
For basically releases and stuff, that's basically all you did. There's not more than that exists of Judas Priest with you?
What, the old songs?
Yeah, like recorded songs with your actual voice on it. Is there anything that exists of that?
Oh yeah, we did some early demos.
And where can you find them?
You won't.
Okay.
I've actually put in my book. If you look at the book, there's a demo inside there, and it was one that we recorded. And I actually redone them again on the Victim of Changes album that I did. I was asked to record once all the stuff I did with Judas Priest, the tracks, and the early demos, and I put them all on Victim of Changes. Dave Holland was on drums. He'd left Judas Priest and he joined up with me, and we did an album, and it was shipped in thousands of copies. But the company I was with sold it to Sanctuary Music, and then Sanctuary sort of put it on one side when Dave got sent to jail for 8 years, and then they sold it on to Universal. And Universal Records have got it now, so I keep asking them to re-release it, you know, because there was all the old, all those tracks we're talking about, plus some of the demos as well, all re-recorded. I've still got the original demo here, and I've been offered £2,000 for it so far, from a guy in Canada as well. It wasn't you, was he, Jason?
It wasn't me. No?
No. There's some guy in Canada. He asked me, do you want to sell it? And he's coming over this year with his family on holiday, and I've got to sign some early albums for him. And he said, I'll give you £2,000 for the demo. And I said, okay, but I haven't spoken to him since. But it's worth a few pounds, you know. It's a bit scratched, and he sounds not too good, but I think the value of some of the stuff. Black Sabbath recorded a single. Mm-hmm. I think the year before we did this one, I think they went in there about 69. We was in there about 70, 71. And that single is on the same Zella Records. And that's a friend of mine in Las Vegas has got it. He paid $2,000 for it. And he has been offered now $35,000 for it from a German collector.
Are you not so happy to think that your music's worth so much now?
It's really strange, isn't it? You know, I don't know. I've actually had this put onto a CD now, so if I did sell it, I've still got a copy I can listen to. Remind me of the old days.
Yeah, you certainly can't just sell the master and not keep a copy of it.
You know? Oh, no.
that would be not too good. But that's interesting, you know, the value, how they go up.
It is amazing, really. I mean, this guy who contacted me from Las Vegas, Joe, and he was saying, like, you know, you got an original one. And I said, yeah, I've got one of those. And when he told me the price, I went, oh my God! And he says, yeah, it's very collectible, you know, to a Priest fan, you know, like the Black Sabbath fans, you know, they collect all this stuff. He got everything ever recorded by Black Sabbath. This guy, Joe D'Agostino in Las Vegas, he's a good friend of mine now, and he'd been offered $35,000 for this crappy old demo. I can't believe it.
Wow. This crappy old demo you're talking about, was it released on vinyl?
Yeah, it was it was actually like an acetate.
Okay. Well, you know what you got worth, you know, that's incredible, you know, those stuff, and yeah, that's really collectible stuff.
Yeah, it sounds very much like it. And I've still got the early stuff that Priest gave me, and I've got a test pressing. I had a track on Unleashed in the East. Victim of Change again. That was on Unleashed in the East. It was one of the biggest selling albums when they brought that out, the live one. And I have a test pressing gear somewhere as well, from CBS with my name on it. The letter from CBS in there, so that may be worth a few quid. I don't know.
I'm sure that's worth a few bucks too. Wow, you're gonna be making a lot of money, Al.
Maybe one day I'll put them early folk poster and some of these albums and put them all in a package and sell them all at once, you know, to some mad collector.
And in no way possible this stuff could ever be released on CD, you think?
I have been asked by a company in America called Shadow Kingdom Records. Have asked me to release a lot of stuff because I've actually got the original 1969 lineup. I got the original single from that band, the original Judas Priest. There were 2 tracks. They were called We'll Stay Together and Good Time Woman. Very commercial, but nevertheless they're both Judas Priest tracks, along with the other 2 from the KK Down in the lineup. So I've got 4 tracks there I could put out, and plus loads of other demos and stuff that's lying around, but I don't think I'm going to bother. I don't think the quality is not as good as I would like to, you know, what it is now, you know what I mean? It's like, if someone wants to buy it, it's for a collection, yeah, but I don't think I'll put it out.
You know, just, there's a lot of classic Judas Priest collectors out there, you know, as a release.
There is.
You know, that would be a big, meaningful, you know, CD, you know, for these people, I'm sure. Have it remastered or something. You never know.
I may do that. We've got our own studios now, so we can do marvelous things, and I might just like sort of remaster it and sort of, you know, what I call tart it up a bit, you know.
Yeah. And still, the people would have the chance to hear the tunes, the songs.
That's right, yes.
And that's always a good thing to do. And when are you going to have a new album of Holy Rage? When is that coming out?
Hopefully we just got set back a little bit, but it'll be April. It's got to be April now. We're coming into the end of this month. We've got another 2 songs to do, and it's more or less that's it. We're going for a distribution company, try and get a distributor, someone like SPV to put it out, So I'm talking the end of April, I think now, when we'll hit the road in May. So it's got to be around about that time. It's a great album. It's the best thing I've ever done, without a doubt.
How many tracks?
There'll be 11 tracks on there.
That's going to be a great album then. All powerful
it's
stuff.
It's unbelievable.
All power music and, those...
Absolutely. How's your album, Jason?
My album is doing actually not bad, and that's really nice of you to...
There's some good stuff on there. I'll listen to it.
Oh, thank you very much. And you did a review for me, and I really appreciate what you said about my guitar work and album. I just recently became a Gibson artist 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah? Because Chris has been on there, my guitarist. He had, he was shredding on a 19 something. It was an old Gibson, a big a big acoustic. I don't know what it was. I ain't got a clue. It wasn't acoustic. It was electric, like a big Barney Kessel thing or something, a jazz guitar.
Yeah.
It was worth thousands and thousands, and somebody put it in his hand and says, "Have a play on that." I'll get him to contact you. I'll get Chris to contact you. And he's on YouTube, and he's playing this old Gibson, and he's shredding on it. And everybody wrote up and said, "My God, that guitar wasn't meant to play like that." It was really funny, actually.
That'd be classic to see something like that. Yeah, you got.
Yeah, I'll get Chris to contact you, because there's a guy we know in Bristol in England, and he collects Gibson guitars. He'll put you in touch with him. He's a great guy. He's a millionaire. He owns a big estate in Bristol.
I guess so. If he collects Gibson guitars, and they're probably all 1959s and stuff. And that's not cheap stuff. So yeah.
No. My guitarist now, my new guitarist, Vince O'Regan, he's got 7 Les Pauls. Oh, I think one's worth about £8,000 or something like that, something ridiculous.
Wow.
He collects them too. He's got about 50 guitars, and he just collects guitars,
That guy's made to play guitars, then. Holy.
He's an incredible guitarist. You wait till you hear him. You are going to go, oh my God.
Is he going to...
Holy rage.
That's awesome. I like to hear that stuff.
He's an incredible guitarist, Vince O'Regan. He's been around for 20 years, but he's played with Bob Catley from Magnum, and he's had a few bands like Eden, and he's been in... I think he's actually had an album in the charts in Canada and one in Germany with different bands. And he's got his own studios now, which is fantastic for us. He's a great sound engineer, so we're really great, so we can just go in the studios. I'm writing stuff, he's writing stuff, banging it down, and within a week it's mixed, done, it's out, it's don't mess about. It's fantastic.
We got to talk again in the near future when you get your album released.
Yeah, by all means. It's been great to talk to you, because we've swapped a few emails over the last year, I say. But it's nice to speak to you, eventually.
Yeah, and the next thing we'll meet in person when I go on tour in your area, or when you come down in my area.
Well, we're trying to get over to Canada, because we've done so many radio stations in Canada now. And everybody keeps saying, when are you going to come and play? But we just got to get a promoter. This is the hardest thing, to get a promoter to put us on over there, We can do a tour with Anvil or something like that.
Yeah. You've seen the movie, right?
I haven't actually, no. My guitarist saw it, but he said, they've been around about, same as me, I think about 30, 40 years, and all of a sudden they just start to take off, I mean, it's fantastic, Just keep going. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, if you get ever a chance, watch that. This is Anvil. You'll love it. It's.
I will. I will look forward to watching that.
Yeah, it's a real good story, and it shows you that it can happen. Just keep on believing it.
That's it. I mean, I've never talking about this. It's like people say, "Where you been hiding?" And I say, "Well, I haven't really." And I get some stick off some people going, "Oh, you're jumping on the bandwagon. You're ripping off Judas Priest. I go, hang on a minute. I've been around for years with different bands, and I've never mentioned Judas Priest. In fact, the first 2 albums I did in Germany 20 odd years ago, I didn't even tell them I was in Judas Priest. And all of a sudden they found out and started putting stickers all over the albums.
Yeah.
This is the first Judas Priest vocalist, the founder member, and I'm going, oh God, I mean, I want to do things on my own, but It's like everything. I don't mind talking about it now. I mean, I'm getting older. But years ago, you know, if I wanted to, say, cash in on Judas Priest, I'd have done it around about 1980 when they brought the British Steel album out, and, you know, and I didn't bother. So all these people have got it wrong. You got it all wrong. The thing is as well, Jason, I don't ask the questions. If I'm interviewed in magazines or on radio, I don't ask the questions, and I'm only willing to answer them, you know. I don't mind, you know.
Well, you're a good man, Al, and I wish you only the best, nothing but the best for you, because you deserve it, man. And thank you.
I wish you all the best for you for your album as well.
Hey, man, I will try my best, and I appreciate that coming from you. And thanks again for the review you did for me last year. I'm glad you released that book, Dawn of the Metal Gods. Really nice.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me on the show, Jason.
Okay, Al, it's been a pleasure, and we're going to be playing some Al Atkins, you know, from Holy Rage.
Thanks very much, Jason.
All right.
You have a great afternoon.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Oh, thanks very much, Jason. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.